Good morning, everybody. I am headed to the gym to do a dynamic leg day. I wasn't planning on videotaping my workouts as often as I have, but I'm doing a unique one today where I'm going to do some exercises you probably haven't seen before, or maybe you've seen variations of. I'm going to be doing what I call a straddle bar squat, which is a very unique glute movement, and it's really great for activating the glutes and teaching your body how to utilize your glutes during other movements. That is a thing that is very hard to train your body to do. Having that mind-muscle connection with your glutes while you're doing squats and presses and lunges. And the reason that I started doing these is actually not even because of bodybuilding, it's because I was having imbalances in my hip, and I needed to strengthen my glutes and my hamstrings to help pull my hips backwards and keep them in better alignment. And so when I started doing these, that was my main focus. And what they became is they became a great way for me to really bring out definition in my glutes and my hamstrings for bodybuilding competitions. And I think it's something that's going to help you no matter what you're doing. If you're a cyclist, a runner, a climber, a swimmer, maybe you're just an average Joe, and you have back pain or hip pain or knee pain even. Having good, strong glutes and hamstrings that worked in conjunction with the rest of your legs and your back and your core is so important to preventing injury, overcoming pain, and really creating a much more balanced strength throughout your hips and your legs. And there's a lot of folks that believe that most injuries start with your back, but the truth is most problems that people have with their back, their neck, their knees, all those things, it all stems from their hips. And it spreads up and down, up the spine, down through the legs, and that's why you see so many problems, because people aren't training these muscles often, if at all. And it's very, very rare that someone has good glute activation during any movements unless they've trained it or they're aware of it. Very few people naturally have that. And the people that do, you'll notice they have great glutes most of the time. You're going to find that there's going to be a few people out there that they have great glute activation just naturally. I've had clients where I'm like, damn, they get it right away. But most people, this is really challenging. So I'm going to show you those. I'm also going to show you what I call an extreme lunge, which is a lunging movement that I do on a Smith machine where we lunge back and then we actually drive our knee up into the movement, and it puts all the weight on your one leg and really forces not only that leg to work hard, but the glute on that side to work really hard. And so I really like those. And then we're gonna do some straight leg deadlifts, which is another movement that it's a very common movement, but a lot of people, I would say, don't do it in a way that really hits their hamstrings as much as it should. A lot of people, it becomes a low back exercise, even though all the magazines and other articles you read, oh, it's a great glute and hamstring exercise, and it is. But most people don't do it in a way that's going to actually work those things. You might feel it, but for the most part, you're using your back, and that's not at all what you're trying to do. If you have strong glutes and strong hamstrings, you don't need to have a really, really strong lower back, right? Your lower back should be strong because it works to stabilize, not because it's a prime mover. If your low back there is to stabilize your spine, your glutes and your hamstrings, and then on the other side, your hip flexors and your quadriceps are actually what should be tilting your hips back and forth, and your abdominals, I guess. But predominantly, those muscles should be what's controlling your hip tilt forward and back. So if you're strengthening those muscles, when you're doing movements that involve your back, like say a deadlift or a straight leg deadlift or other, maybe bent over rows, for instance, your glutes and hamstrings should be the primary mover, and your back is actually more of a secondary stabilizer to the movement. Because you're not bending your hips at your spine, you're bending your hips at your hips, right? So I think today's going to be interesting for you guys. As I said, there's some exercises you maybe haven't seen before, or maybe you haven't seen them done this way before. I'm going to try and really hone in the videos to show you the movements, and you're going to notice my muscles twitching a lot and me shaking, and I'm not going to be using a lot of weight. And the reason I'm not using a lot of weight is because I'm really trying to focus on the mind-muscle connection rather than just on the movement itself. So this is something you guys are going to need to practice. It's something you're going to throw into the beginning of your workout as more of a warm-up even, rather than an actual exercises you use to grow the muscle, because right now you're just going to be teaching your body how to do this, and that's how I approached it. I threw it in to start teaching my muscles how to activate better, and then the rest of my workout would be more successful because these muscles were activated correctly. So I want you guys to really utilize these in a way that's going to help you to build a more balanced strength. And the thing you're going to find, and the same thing I found, is that it helped everything else I was doing. Like, for instance, those straddle bar squats, I remember when I started doing those, after the first 2 months, I added like a ½ inch to my thighs. And I wasn't feeling it predominantly in my thighs. It's a glute exercise. But my thighs expanded by ½ inch in the muscle belly of my thighs by doing this exercise, because I was activating the legs differently. And then when I got into other movements like leg presses and all those other things that I normally do, it made a big difference. My hamstrings were activated more, my quadriceps were activated better, and my glutes were working together with those muscles so I could move more weight. I could do the exercise more effectively. And you're going to notice a difference. And I really, really like these exercises. They're not always fun to do. Like I said, they're kind of awkward looking, and they really get your heart rate going, you know. So I mean, unless I'm looking to compete, I don't do these a lot, just because they kind of suck because they're hard, right? But they really are effective. I'm going to show you those, and I might do a few exercises, I don't know, besides those. We'll just kind of see how I'm feeling. But this is going to be my primary today. So let's go ahead and get to the gym. I'll show you these exercises, how they work. I'll try to explain them as best I can in my video and really give you a good tutorial on them. Today's going to be a little bit less about my workout and a little bit more about teaching you guys. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to it. Alright, so I'm going to start with the straddle bar squats. I'm going to show you the movement first, and then I'll zoom in and show you what my feet look like, the grip on my hands, and some of the other things about the form before I break into the workout. First thing you'll notice, it's a little bit of strange movement. I've had it called a stripper bar squat before. But it's about activating the glutes. So now I'm going to show you what my feet look like over the bar, what my hand grip is, and then how I'm going to vary that from side to side, because it does favor one side over the other depending on how you're facing. All right, so here's my feet. So I'm going to have my feet at a 90-degree. Okay, so here's my feet. So you'll notice that they are at a 90-degree angle from each other. So one foot is facing one way, one faces perpendicular to that. I've got about 16 inches between my heels, and if I were to squat down, my knees come right over my toes, and when I come back up, I feel a good squeeze in my glutes. So as you're doing that movement, you're trying to really open the hips up, and this is going to allow you to activate different parts of your legs, and it's also going to allow you to get a better squeeze in your glutes. So as you hit the bottom, you're still trying to keep your glutes activated. You'll feel them clench, and as you come up, as you bring those knees in, you're actually pulling your glutes to squeeze those knees back. As far as my grip goes, I'm going to grab with this side. I'm going to grab with an underhand grip in front of it. You're going to notice that my arm comes right across the inner thigh, and it's about lined up just behind the knee, roughly. With the other side, I'm going to be back behind myself. My arm comes right up against my butt, and then my grip overhand on that side. Now, when I go, this side is going to focus primarily on my right leg and glute. If I flip this to the other side, which I'll do after my first set, now I'm going to focus more on the left glute. Doing the exact same thing, coming down, underhand grip on this side, overhand grip on this side. So you're just doing a mirror image of that movement. one thing I want you guys to notice is that my upper body stays very upright. I'm not bending over at all, keeping a very stationary upper body, and I'm allowing all that movement to happen in my hips. And like I said, this is one you're gonna need to practice. Really try and focus on squeezing the glutes, so that's very important, and trying to keep them active throughout the movement. So start with basically no weight, right? Just use the bar, come down, try and focus on feeling it in your glutes. So you're keeping some tension all the way down, and then you're trying to use your glutes to squeeze, and that's gonna be what brings your legs together. And it takes a lot of practice. So start doing this at the beginning of your leg day to work on improving your glute activation, and you're gonna notice a difference. So it looks a little funny, strange exercise. Kai Green does it, and obviously he's got some fantastic glute and leg development, and I'm a big fan. I did this a lot when I was a personal trainer for my clients, especially those who had issues with their knees, hips, and back. And so this is a really great movement for you girls that are wanting to build a nice little bubble butt to show off in your pants. This will get the job done. So, and same for you guys who are looking to compete. If you want to build striations in your glutes and get better glute development, this is going to do the trick. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my sets, and I'll just film from some different directions so you can see the movement. Like I said, focus on what you see my legs doing, and really try and look and focus at the muscle activation and notice the different things I pointed out in my form. All right, so just that set of 20 reps, so 10 each side, that got my heart rate up pretty good. And the thing, again, that I want you to focus on, it's not about how heavy it is. This is not an exercise you should ever be doing really heavy, because I promise you, if you get to where you're doing it too heavy, you're not gonna be using your glutes right. You're gonna start using your back, using the rest of your legs, and your form is not gonna be as clean. So this is one you're not gonna be working on to get super strong on. You're gonna try and focus to get stronger and stronger contractions. And that should be your focus, not about how much weight you can move. This is only 95 pounds. So I haven't done these in a little while, so it is harder to, but my body has not forgot the movement. Muscle memory is a really cool thing. But it really is a very, very effective exercise. So I'm gonna show you from the front. Now that you've seen the back, you can see my glutes contracting. You can see my form. I'm gonna show you from the front now, so you can see a different angle. And I think you guys are gonna really like this exercise, so please give it a shot. And I'm gonna go and do my next set now. Alright, so that's 3 sets, and now we're gonna go ahead and do straight leg deadlifts. Okay, so straight leg deadlifts is another one where you're really trying to use the hamstrings and glutes. It's not about how much weight you use. In fact, you should start very light when you're first learning these. I'll see a lot of guys come in and they'll throw like 225 on a bar, and they do half the movement, right? They don't go all down all the way, because they go down the whole way, they can't pick it back up, and they're using their back for about 90% of it. So I want you to take the time, learn how to keep your back from rounding too much, but really allowing your back to relax and utilizing your glutes and hamstrings to pivot at the hips rather than your back. So it takes a lot of practice, and I'm going to show you some different views, some different angles. As you can see, notice my feet, toes turned out a little bit, and heels are always closer together than the toes when you're doing these or the straddle bar squats. And that's all about putting your hips in a position where your glutes can activate further. If your toes are pointed out, it allows your glutes to contract much better than if they're pointed straight forward. So we're going to do that. So I'll show you a few angles and do some more explanations along the way. Okay, so just doing 10 reps, not trying to push it to do max reps or anything. I'll just start losing my form and then start using my back. So I'm gonna show some different angles of this as I'm going through my sets and making sure you understand my form. This next one, I'm gonna show you my foot positioning from above and where my hands are gripped. And then I'll show you a front on view so you can see that part of the form. So one thing you're going to notice is how far I lean back at the end of the movement. But what you'll also notice is that I'm not clenching my low back. I'm actually using that to fully clench my glutes. So you'll see my glutes really squeeze in. That's why I'm leaning back, is to finish the contraction there. It's not about your back at all. And so like I said, you're bending at the hips. Utilize your hamstrings and glutes to maintain the tension at the bottom, and using that tension to squeeze yourself back up. You're squeezing and pulling yourself back up with your legs, not with your back. Okay, so after doing those, my glutes and thighs are getting tired, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my inner and outer thigh abductors now. Go ahead and give those muscles a rest, and then I'll come back and do those extreme split lunges that I was talking about earlier. Okay, so I just finished my abductors, and I didn't film them because you guys have already seen those in my other isolation leg day. So I want to tell you a little bit about how quickly I fatigued on these this time. First set was normal reps and same weights as normal, and then very rapidly dropped weights, or sorry, not weights, but reps each set. And so I know that during those other exercises, I really fatigued the inner and outer thigh, the glutes. And so this last exercise, I'm gonna go ahead and do those extreme lunges on the Smith machine. So I'm going back to where I was before. Weighs the same weight with 95 pounds, nothing crazy. And I'm probably only gonna do one set, mostly just to show you guys the movement and make sure you can see some different angles. I'm totally gassed, you guys. So this is a good example of the difference that having good, strong muscle activation can do compared to just moving the weight and doing the movement, actually getting in there and really focusing on the muscle contraction rather than how much weight you move. And it's not gonna build a lot of size, but it'll build a lot of quality and really help you to be stronger and more effective on your other movements when you are going heavy. So we'll go ahead and do those now. So I'll show you guys the form, make sure you guys understand them well, and then I'm gonna call it a day because I'm gassed. All right, so Smith extreme lunges. So I'm over here on the Smith machine, and this is one that actually allows the bar to slide back and forth on these tracks. So you're not stuck in a straight vertical or a slightly angled vertical movement. You're actually allowed to move it forward and back. And this does work better for these because you have a little more free motion, but it doesn't allow you to go side to side. So it helps you with your balance. You can do these at barbell. You can do them on any type of Smith machine. You just need to adjust your feet accordingly so that the movement feels natural. What I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna lunge back, and you'll notice that I check my feet position before I even really get under the bar. And once I do, then I'm really focused on finding that perfect position where it feels best. And then when I come up, I'm driving my knee all the way up, and you're gonna notice my right glute really contract on the right side. And again, when I do it on the left side, same thing. I'm just gonna do 10 reps each side, and I'm gonna give you a few different angles so you can see how the movement should look from different positions, how far your feet are gonna be spread and all that and such. So this is a movement I actually got from a good friend of mine, and he had some of the best quads I've ever seen in person. So other than some pro bodybuilders. So this is a really good movement. It's very challenging. We used to actually do this where we do 3 or 4 sets of these, superset of the front squats. That's all we did on leg day, and they kick your butt. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into these, show you how they work. And I hope that this workout that I've showed you today is really going to be effective for you guys and be something totally different than what you've done before. Okay, so like I said, they really kick your butt. So after I rest, I'm gonna do one more view from behind just so you guys can see the back. side of the movement. I'm only gonna do a few reps of each foot. I just want you guys to be able to see it from all angles. So in a couple minutes, I'll go ahead and have that on, okay? Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this workout. I hope it was educational. And so it really wasn't intended to be a killer workout for me. It was more about just showing you guys some cool exercises that I've used to really help balance out my muscular development, bring out definition when I'm looking to compete. And really more than anything was just about preventing injury for myself. So if you're an athlete of any type, try and start to include these exercises because it's going to really help you. Keep your hips more balanced, prevent knee injuries, back injuries, even neck and shoulder injuries. Because if your hips are in alignment, everything else comes into alignment too. If you've enjoyed my videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, share with your friends, and anyone else you know who's looking to get into fitness or maybe really likes fitness. So when I was a personal trainer, these exercises I used with a lot of my clients. So a lot of my clients are gonna watch this video and be like, oh, cool. I remember I did those. I felt really silly. So I hope you enjoy these. And I think I'm on day 21 of my 90-day fitness challenge. So I'm still pushing. I think I'm down 6.5 pounds. I'm going to keep doing this and keep sharing this with you guys so you can see my transformation.